it's a hard time for so many people right now, particularly professionals in service industries, hairstylists, massage therapists, nail techs, just to name a few. As businesses begin to reopen and many professionals return to work, I want to provide some words of encouragement and some tangible actions you can take to create greater financial confidence. Because when you get confident, you get clear, which allows you to take action. Hi, my name is Erin Kuhn, and I'm the president of Qnity. We help businesses, teams, and individuals prosper. In this video, I'm going to give you 5 tips to help create greater financial confidence. Number 1 is create unity. We find that it's very common for professionals in creative services to be guilty of putting their focus heavily on the creative and technical elements of their craft. Now, this isn't always a bad thing, but many times it can actually come at the expense of the finance and business building aspects of their profession. Let's be real, finance and business building isn't always the most enjoyable part of your career or life, but I'd like to encourage and challenge you to try to live more in the middle. What do I mean by live in the middle? There's one simple word that can help to illustrate this concept of unity and living in the middle. It's and. Replace the word or with and. This means creating unity between the business and the creative, the left brain and the right brain, between profit and people, and lastly, between your head and your heart. I found that the most prosperous people I know are the ones who successfully navigate living in the middle. So if you've historically focused on one side more than the other, challenge yourself to move the pendulum towards the middle. As an example with business and creativity, if you typically focus on buying the latest tools and learning the latest trends in fashion, try investing in education to level up your financial and business acumen. Challenge yourself to reflect on your business and life. Where can you create unity and live more in the middle? Get closure. Let me introduce you to Corinne and tell you a short story. Corinne is a graduate of our Plan to Prosper program. When she came to Qnity, she was really struggling financially, not because she wasn't talented, driven, or because her clients didn't like her. It was actually the complete opposite. During the Plan to Prosper program, Corinne realized in order to earn more, she had to let go of some serious limiting beliefs she had around money. She didn't exercise using our core visual thinking tool called the 9 Grid. She used this tool as a mind map, which I'm also going to link a resource on mind mapping in the sections below. But in the center box of her 9 Grid, she wrote limiting beliefs. In the surrounding boxes, she started to list out all the limiting beliefs she'd been holding on to. Once she was able to acknowledge it was her beliefs holding her back and what those beliefs were, she could begin the process of closure, which, by the way, it was a process. It took tears and letting go of some really painful childhood experiences she had around money. But as a result of releasing that weight and getting closure, she was able to move forward. And in the end, she increased her income by almost $40,000 a year, which was essentially doubling her income. But more importantly is what that income allows her to do, which is pay for private school to give her son a greater quality education and to buy a more reliable car. It was this act of getting closure in the areas that were holding her back that led to a financial transformation. Establishing a practice of closure allows you to move forward without the obstacles in the past holding you back. The quicker you can get closure and identify what's weighing you down, which in this case we're talking about financially, the quicker you can eliminate the fog and regain clarity. This practice of closure is important for big things like Corinne's example of getting closure around limiting beliefs or perhaps getting out of debt, but it's also important for small things that you might be procrastinating on. For example, setting up a bank account or automating payments. Identify what's holding you back, get closure so you can move forward. Number 3 is simplify. This is foundational to everything we do at Qnity. And contrary to what you might think, it's actually really hard to simplify. There's a lot of complexity in business, in relationships, and life. And with so much going on and with all this noise, the best thing you can possibly do is to simplify whatever areas in your life you have the power to control. Simplifying your finances, your business, and your life. There's one key word to focus on creating greater simplicity. Any guesses? It's eliminate. One of my favorite quotes is by Leo Babauta. It's identify the essential and eliminate the rest. According to a study in the Global Brand Simplicity Index, companies that practice simplicity outperform their competitors by 99%. So this is actually really good business too. From a very practical starting point, let's look at your expenses. What can you eliminate? Some of your expenses are necessary and fixed, but there are some items that are wants and some expenses that maybe can't be fully eliminated, but they could be reduced. In times of economic uncertainty, you want to preserve cash. What is one thing you can do to add simplicity in your finances by eliminating? Number 4 is focus on increasing total sales. This one is specifically for those of you who are headed back to work. If you're not back to work yet or don't know when you will be, just stay with me because this will help you in the future, and there are some things you can start to apply and put into practice today. At Qnity, we have a very specific system to increase your income and total sales. We call it 2-number growth. It's universal, and it's a system to drive growth by increasing total sales. It's based off the equation that client count, which is how many clients you see, multiplied by average ticket, which is how much an average client spends with you, equals total sales. As a general rule of thumb, when you provide a service, when you increase your total sales, you'll make more money or somehow improve your performance. Of course, that's contingent on some other factors and that you don't change your expenses, but that's for another video. This equation is the same for just about any business. As a result of the pandemic, which is at the time I'm recording this video, client count will temporarily be down. So you've got to work with what you've got, which means focus on increasing average ticket. This can be done by offering add-ons, pricing, and selling products. How can you apply 2-number growth to your situation? Number 5 is track. What you measure and give your focus to increases. Regardless of your role, I strongly encourage you to track your finances. You can't get where you want to go if you don't know where you're going, and if you don't know where you are right now. I recommend putting a pen to paper and doing this by hand, listing out each of your monthly expenses and your monthly income. In times of financial turmoil, we actually recommend doing this practice daily. I'd also recommend hand tracking your total sales. Remember 2-number growth, because this directly correlates to how much money you make or your performance. Track your client count and average ticket, then multiply them together. Then you can start to figure out what behaviors will increase how many clients you see and your average ticket. This video is a bit long already, so more on those behaviors that will drive those 2 numbers shortly. There you go, 5 tips that I promise, even if you implement only one of them, you will start to see positive changes in your financial confidence. In times where it feels like everything is out of our control, and trust me, I know there's some seriously real barriers right now, and I don't want to ignore that. But with a little bit of action and intentional action, it can help you create confidence, which leads to hope, and I promise you'll start to see some improvements. So comment in the section below. I can't wait to hear from you, and good luck. Thanks for watching.